welcome to Build Series. I'm Laura Muraski from HuffPost. Melissa Joan Hart rose to fame on Nickelodeon's Clarissa Explains It All and went on to star in Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Melissa and Joey. The longtime actress also works behind the scenes as a producer and director and stars in the new Lifetime movie, A Very Nutty Christmas. Take a look. Everyone, please welcome Melissa Joan Hart to the Build stage.
Hi, thank you. I haven't seen that scene in a while, so I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about all that.
Yeah, and she was smiling and laughing along with it.
Yeah, I was like, that dress. You just see, like, my shoulders are up here. I'm a little uncomfortable. Like, with the corset bit, it was like, it wouldn't go down. So I was like, I'll keep my shoulders up here.
Yeah, but it looked gorgeous on you. It looked really
it was built
beautiful
for me, so when I stand, it fits very nicely. Sitting, it was a little more like, it moves up.
Yeah, it's definitely a standout dress and a standout scene in the whole film.
It's a fun one. So Conchata Ferrell there, who's talking to Barry, who plays, Barry Watson, who plays Chip, Nutcracker. Conchata plays Clara. So even though, like, in the real Nutcracker, Clara is the kind of the young girl going through the adventure, in this case, we just kind of, you know, you'll see some familiar names from the Nutcracker movies or the Nutcracker ballet, and you know, we just kind of take little bits of the Nutcracker, put it in there, but mainly the music from the Nutcracker's in there. Yeah,
and it's okay, but the story is not at all Nutcracker, like in that way.
No, so it's a very modern rom-com kind of version of a wooden man come to life.
Yeah, and and Melissa plays Kate Holiday, appropriate name, and you basically play a really hardworking baker who's in for a surprise around the holidays.
Hence the baking outfit, which was great to wear. I wore that for like almost 2 weeks straight, which was a great costume, not have to change. You know, on set you usually change your costume like 17 times a day. So in this case, I was wearing clogs and like a white vest. I was like, this is awesome.
Really comfy.
Yeah. And actually I'm on a Netflix show right now where I play a chef. Yeah. And so I get to be in the similar outfit quite often. Yeah. So it's nice.
Like, I'm a pro at this one.
I've got this. I don't know how to cook, but I know how to make it look like I cook.
Well, you know, your character's surrounded by cookies all the time, and which is they look delicious.
The cookies were beautifully made by this bakery in Connecticut where we filmed, and it was hard. Like looking at them, they're almost too pretty to eat, and they'd been there for a while, so you're like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna let those sit. But when you had your hands in the cookie dough, and all of a sudden I started like taking little bits, and they were like, that was made yesterday. I'm like, I don't care, it's good.
That's the best part.
Yeah, a little salmonella won't hurt me. It's fine.
But you know, she is broken up with. It's not really giving away much.
No, right in the beginning, like Santa breaks up with me, so I'm kind of heartbroken, and then someone gives me a real Nutcracker from Germany, and I kind of make a little wish on it, sort of, and put it under the tree at night. And when I wake up in the morning, like the whole house is decorated, and there's this man sleeping on the floor, and I'm waiting for I don't know if he's a soldier or like army. It's someone that's supposed to come stay with me from an Airbnb. Okay. And so I wake up and there's a man there. So it's not too weird because I was waiting for a guest to come, and I just think it's him. And then he follows me around, and when our nut machine breaks at the bakery, he's able to crack all the nuts just doing this. So he had some fun with some of those scenes. And then when the tree needs decorating, he's up there decorating the tree and just kind of trying to protect me, as you can see in this picture right here where he's got his wooden sword out at the rat men, as we call them. And you know, just he saves Christmas. He like helps me find the spirit of Christmas. But what I love about like what Lifetime lets us do with these movies is that they're not all like buttoned up with a nice little bow. They're actually they're able to be really silly and fun, and you know, it's not always the ending that you thought would happen, but it is the perfect ending. But it's not exactly what you thought.
Yeah, I was actually surprised by the ending. I had no idea where it was going to end the whole time. I'm like, where's this going?
The whole time you're like, what could happen? Yeah, there's so many things. I mean, you know, because in the real Nutcracker, it's like she wakes up from a dream, and it could be that, or is it that? You know, so there's so many different ways you could go with it, and I think the writers did a really good job.
Yeah, and so you serve as executive producer on this. You didn't direct it, but you have directed films in the past. Did you have a say in much of the script or, you know, the direction at all?
The script was, you know, my mother is my producing partner, and I think last time I was here, she was with me for Watcher in the Woods, the one that I directed and we produced together. She's really good at that kind of thing. She's great at notes on scripts. She does all the post, like all the editing and whatnot. She does a lot of the casting. I help with the casting, just as far as like friends and connections I have, or who I think would be good for a part. But you know, as far as the producing part, I really let her kind of handle more of the stuff. When we're on set and we're in production, that's when I really kind of take over. She doesn't like the production part; she likes the post part, and I don't like the post part. So we're a good team.
Yeah. Well, how long ago did you create your production company, Hartbreak Films?
Oh gosh, right? I had just finished Clarissa, and I hadn't yet started Sabrina because Sabrina was our first project. So I was about 17, living around the corner here, and she was at PS 41. My sisters went to school there, and someone handed her a comic strip of Sabrina from the Archie comics and said, this would be a great role for Melissa. She then bought the rights, went to Viacom, sold it as a Showtime movie. Then we did a we cut up the, like an edited version of, like a sizzle reel off of the movie, the Sabrina, I don't know if you guys ever saw the Sabrina movie on Showtime, but it was like Ryan Reynolds and a bunch of familiar faces there. And then we took it and pitched it out to the networks and gave it to ABC as a series. So that's how Hartbreak Films, our company, started. And since then, we've done, not only did we do Sabrina and the animated show and the 3 movies, we did TV movies every summer for different networks and different programming. We did one that was amazing. It was, I'm a big fan of Shirley Temple, and I really wanted to do her autobiography, Child Star. And it took a really long time to get that project going, but my mom walked on the set of Sabrina one day and said, guess what? We're gonna make Child Star. And it had been like 3 or 4 years of trying to get this thing made, but everybody was either like, it's gonna be too mean or it's gonna be too soft. Nobody could figure out what to do with it. And ABC at the time still had The Wonderful World of Disney on Sunday night movies, which they don't have anymore, but it had been like an ongoing thing for years and years, maybe decades. And they were like, we wanna put it in Mother's Day, we wanna do Shirley Temple's story. And Connie Britton played the mom, and we did this nationwide search for Shirley. And that was just, but I was doing Sabrina at the same time, and we were shooting in Australia. So I didn't get to be a very big part of that production, but that was one of the moments, like on the set of Sabrina, when she came to tell me that, she pulled me aside, and everyone on the crew just saw me crying, and they were all like, are you okay? I'm like, it's the best day of my life. I'm gonna make Shirley Temple's movie. Like, I was so in tears, so happy.
Wow, but I mean, just imagine the freedom and sort of like creativity that you've had since a young age now, because your mom made that decision so early on. I mean,
yeah, it can be great and it can be hard. Like, it was the smartest thing she ever did, was getting us to produce our own stuff, because so many people in the industry are now doing it because they find that it's the only way to really do it. To wait and be an actor for hire is tough. When you get to actually be a producer, like right now, I'm an actor for hire on a Netflix show, which is great because I'm actually kind of like, yeah, I'll chill over here while you guys handle all the business. But it's also hard to be part of a production when you don't have a voice. You know, as an actor, a lot of people are like, all right, calm down over there. But unless you're directing or producing, you don't really get a lot of creative say, except just about your character. So it's nice to be able to produce. Like when I produce, people take me seriously, you know what I mean? And I can weigh in. I sit there for note sessions with the network, and I do stuff in post, and I, have a lot more. I want to do an episode. I have a really talented friend I want to put in this episode, or let's write a part for them, or, that kind of thing. And when you're an actor for hire, it's a little more like, where do you need me? Where should I stand, and what do I wear? Like, that's it.
Is it hard to kind of take a back seat at those times?
It's getting harder as I get older. Like, this is my first series I've done. So Clarissa, I didn't produce, but then, but I thought I was, so I just was very bossy. And then Sabrina, I produced for 7 years, and then Melissa and Joey for 5 years, and in between all these TV movies we've done, Christmas movies, and then and movies that I've produced that I haven't been in. Like, we did a great one called Scream Team with like Kat Denning, and just a cast in that one. It was a Halloween movie done years ago in Australia. And so we have this great library of projects, some that I've produced, some that I've starred in, and some that I've done both. But now, after all these years, to be like 42 and on a set and I'm not the producer, I'm kind of like, I have to pick my fights, But it's also fun because it also takes a little bit of the pressure off you.
Yeah, and this Netflix show, it's called
called No Good Nick.
No Good Nick, and you play the mom, right?
I am. It's the first time I'm playing a mom. I did play a mom in the Christmas movie we did last year called A Very Merry Toy Store, which I'm sure Lifetime will play this year. That was the first time I played a mom, but this is the first time on television I'm playing the mom, and it's so weird because on set they'll be like, okay, we need mom over here, and I'm like, I have a name. Like, that's so generic. We need mom over here? Like, you can call me Melissa or you can call me Liz, my character name, but do not call me mom.
But you are a mom in real life.
Yes,
you have
I am. I'm a mom of 3
have
boys.
3 boys.
Yeah.
And how old are they now?
6, 10, and 12.
Oh my goodness.
And of course, I've never played a mom on TV, and yet here I am playing the mom of teenagers. I'm like, really? I didn't even have a baby? I just go from like I just go from like never being a mom to being the mom of teenagers. That's a big jump. Hold on.
Oh my goodness. Well, what are the kids? What are your own kids like? What are like? Are they?
They're crazy.
Yeah, they're crazy. Okay.
The 6-year-old is probably on his way here soon. He's coming to get me. But my 10 and 12-year-old are wild. They're all so different, you know. Kids are just you can try to raise them the same. They come from the same genetics, and yet they're all so different. My oldest one is so independent. He has this amazing sense of. He has this confidence, right? And I'm like, oh, I can't wait for someone to like knock you out one day and put you in your place. But then someone said to me, you know, it's you can't teach confidence like that. So it's great that he has that. He will be knocked down a few pegs in his life, but don't be the one to do it. I was like, okay. But it's funny because he's so confident that, so I was planning this trip to Disneyland and I was trying not to tell them. I'm terrible with secrets. Don't ever tell me a secret. I'm the worst secret keeper ever because I want to share everything. But I wanted to take them to Disneyland, trying to keep my mouth shut about it. But I also wanted to know, because they're old enough now and they like Star Wars, do they want to do the Jedi training thing? So I'm trying to figure out if I'm trying to figure out a way to ask this, right? So I asked my son, hey, listen, if you had the chance to use a lightsaber, what would you want to? And he goes, oh, are you telling me what I think you're telling me? And I'm like, oh, he figured it out. We're going to Disney. He figured it out. And he goes, did George Lucas call and he wants me in the movie? And I was like, what in the, no, if George Lucas calls, I'm gonna be in the movie, not you. What are you talking about? Like, that's where he went with it. I was like, that's insane. So he's very confident.
Amazing.
Yeah, a little to a fault, but he's everything comes easy to him. Music, sports, like everything, right? Girls like him, like the whole thing. It's so easy. The middle one has a little bit more, like, he's my emotional guy. He's probably gonna be an actor, which I always roll my eyes at. Like, in all of his school meetings, the conferences are always like, everything they say, I'm like, oh, actor. He's gonna be an actor. He's my creative soul. He's a good little dancer, and he likes to accessorize like crazy. Like, he loves a good like hat and necklace and a bow tie or whatever. Like, he loves to just be over the top. He wants to be an all purple head to toe. I had to dye underwear purple for him so he could have all purple. They don't make purple underwear for boys apparently. But like, he's just his own little thing. And then my little one is just, we haven't figured him out. He's just a Tasmanian devil. Okay. I don't even know. He's like, there's no way to describe him. If he was in here right now, he's just a terror. Oh, man. He is a terror, but he is a sweetheart. And they say that like, the way to know you're a mom of boys is like, so someone, if there's like this thing right on Instagram, like a meme or whatever, and they say, my friend asked me, what's it like to be the mom of boys? So then I ran around the house, tore everything apart, ate all the food in the pantry, told fart jokes, talked about Minecraft for 3 hours, and then right when she was ready to kill me, I gave her a hug and told her she was pretty. And it's like, that's it. That's so it. And that's my little one. He's like, a terror, 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 terror. Mommy, I made you a picture. And you're like, oh, thank you.
Thanks. Warms your heart.
Yeah.
Well, your middle one is destined to be an actor. You started acting at like 4 years old. I mean, was that something you were interested in at that age? Or you just kind of like...
Yeah, so it's weird. There was a show, you guys are all probably too young. Does anyone remember Romper Room?
I do.
So there's a show called Romper Room. So it was like a kid's show, right? And the thing is, it was, what was it? Miss Marianne. And she sat with all these kids on the floor. And every show, at the end, she'd have a magic mirror. And she said, magic mirror, magic mirror. I forget how it goes. Little rhyme. And then she'd say the kids' names that she saw. And Melissa wasn't a popular name. And she would always, and then I realized that she's saying the names of the kids that are on the floor. So if I could be on that show, she'd finally say Melissa in the magic mirror. So I told my mom, like, I think I was like eating popcorn, watching TV. And I go, I need to be on TV. And she was like, done. So here I am. No, she knew someone who had a kid that was like modeling or something, so she called the agent, and I booked my first audition. So
crazy.
I'm not shy. I think that's part of it.
Yeah, clearly. But I mean, but you've been going ever since, and you've been able to like continue on doing so many different memorable characters. One of which was Sabrina, which we're seeing coming back in a new form. I will always look at you as Sabrina, but I haven't seen the new one yet. Have you checked it out?
I haven't seen the whole thing. Netflix sat us down, a few of the cast members. I think you can find it on their social media page. They sat us down and had us watch the trailers, or not the trailer, but like specific snippets for us to comment on, and it's pretty wild. It's so different.
Yeah, it's different, and that makes it like, I guess, okay. It makes it better, right?
Better.
That it's
not
like
I can see why the
wheel.
Charmed girls might be a little upset. It's like the exact same show, just different people. But in this case, it's like it's so different.
And for someone like you who is so you've done various things, but a lot of people identify you with that. Like, how do you reconcile that sort of nostalgia versus like, I'm doing a billion other things. I've done.
Yeah,
a billion other
it's funny because it's like a band that plays the same song, right? They're like one hit song that everybody wants to hear, but they want to play their new stuff. You want to keep moving forward. But it's really nice to have something like that. Like I really enjoy when people come up to me about Clarissa or Sabrina or like Drive Me Crazy is about to have its 20th anniversary and that kind of thing. I think it's heartwarming to hear people say, when I was in the hospital and I was sick, you were the reason I laughed, or I grew up with you, or you were always in our living room every Friday night, or that kind of thing. And now my kids are enjoying it, or it's something that seems to be living on. And with the new Sabrina coming back, it's been really nice for me because there's all these articles written, not comparing them, but saying kind of like the same character from back in the 90s, and it'll say like the iconic show or legendary Melissa. I'm like, whoa, that's awesome. That's what you like. That's how you're gonna put. Okay, I'll take it. Like,
absolutely.
That's kind of awesome. And the thing about like the new cast is I like to think of it like the way the Batman movies are or 007. You're like in a sisterhood. Like we play the same character, so it's cool. Like there's so many Batmans and there's so many Bonds, and we can share the same character and have this sisterhood.
I love that. With Sabrina, it felt like with your ending, it ended, in a way that's like, okay, tie it with a bow sort of thing.
Yeah.
But with Clarissa, I feel like that was a show that people keep saying, oh, it could be rebooted. I saw reports earlier this year that Nickelodeon might want to bring it back in some form.
There was some, we were in negotiations, and so there is a contract, but so that was leaked, but there's nothing right now happening with that because I'm on this Netflix show until at least April. And so the whole process, and Nickelodeon's in flux right now and everything, the network itself. So, if we get it squared away, I'll come back and talk to you about it.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely want to have her back at Build, right? That's awesome. I would imagine that you would be in it, I would hope.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But there's the contract's drawn up different ways. Yeah. So it depends on what shape the show takes. Is it going to be a kid's show? Is it going to be a family show? Is it going to be more like Gilmore Girls, or is it going to be actually just the kids? And I kind of pop in once in a while. I go, "Don't do that, kids." I hope not, but you know what I mean.
Well, now you're a pro playing the mom thing.
I know,
right?
and they'll be like, "Mom stands over here," and I'll be like, "Excuse me."
Well, the Netflix show, it's already going to have a second season, right?
Yeah, we got picked up immediately for 2 seasons, which is really nice. Netflix, it's so great because they don't, you don't have to do a pilot. So like usually you audition in February, you shoot a pilot in April, then you find out in May if it gets picked up, and you start work in August. In this case, it's like, forget all that. I just like in August got a phone call, come out here for 20 weeks. And so I'm in LA now for 20 weeks. We just did 7 episodes so far.
That's awesome. So is there a role that you haven't tackled that you're like, okay, I haven't done that, but
The only thing I haven't done is play dead.
Yeah.
I've never died. I've held dead bodies. I've prayed over dead bodies, but I've never died. So hopefully it's a really fun sort of part if I get to do that. Okay. I was in a coffin once on Sabrina, though. I do remember that because I asked them to special effects me, and I didn't want to get in a coffin before I have to. But I remember at one point I said, all right, listen, if you roll cameras right now, I will get in there, I will lay still for 3 seconds, and I will get out. But that is all you're getting. Otherwise, you're going to have to CGI me in there. So I did it.
With Sabrina, there was so many is there a crazy theory about your character that you people will question? They'll say, "Oh, whatever happened to this?" That people keep bringing up to you.
Sabrina?
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, mitosis is. Like everybody learned what mitosis is because of Sabrina, but I'm like, damn, I can't remember what that is. Like everyone's like, I only know science because of you. I'm like, oh, what is mitosis again? Division of cells or something? I can't remember. But yeah, there's certain things people remember, or songs like Shake Your Whammy Fanny, funky song we did, which if you sing that in England or Australia, it's trouble. But then, there's like all these little kind of catchphrases and stuff. So my favorite thing that I kind of just recently remembered, because of course, Sabrina was on in a day and age before DVR or, so if I wanted to watch it, they would give me VHS tapes and I'd have to take them home and watch them. But I'm working like 70-hour weeks. When am I going to go home and watch my own show that I'm working on every day? And it's on Friday nights and I'm not having to live tweet it. So I'm working Friday nights until 2 a.m. So I'm not exactly watching my own show. Now it's a little different because you have to live tweet these things, right? But, so I'll be live tweeting Nutty Christmas on Friday. But, so I didn't really watch the show, so I don't remember it the way I don't remember the visual of like the whole show put together. I remember how it came together in little pieces maybe, but I recently remembered that there was this whole season about the Spellman secret, and the quizmaster was coming every day and he would give me a different secret and I'd have to unlock a clue or whatever, and at the end of the season you figured out what the Spellman family secret was. And so I keep asking, now when I see little kids, they come to my show or whatever, because they come to the live show, and if I see kids, I'll be like, so what's the Spellman family secret? And they all know it. I'm like, it's amazing.
That's impressive.
Does anyone here know it?
We got one. We got one.
Yeah, every Spellman has a twin. That's right. I had to throw mine in a volcano. I only remember that episode because I had the flu so bad that I was puking on the side of the stage, and I had to play myself twice. And I asked Phil Rose, my favorite key grip on set, to stand behind me on the volcano because we were shooting outside in sunny California, and I thought I was going to pass out. So he stood behind me in case I fell off the volcano to catch me.
You've had so many crazy acting experiences. Would you say, I think I might have read this, that Melissa and Joey's one of your favorite
That was
characters?
my favorite character to play, I think. It's hard because they're kind of like picking children.
Yeah.
Brady's my favorite. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We tell them that all the time. But of course, you love all your children equally, right? Yeah. So the thing is, with Melissa and Joey, I really enjoyed that character because she was so flawed. She was so over the top. I got to be so silly. Sabrina, I was sort of reserved. I was always kind of the wallflower, like watching things and having to fix things. And not really my personality. Clarissa I loved, but it was a really hard show to do just because I was in high school at the time too and really wanted to have a boyfriend and, all that stuff. So when I did Melissa and Joey, it was just so freeing and so fun and got to be kind of loosey, kind of over the top, big. But, and when we ended that show, I knew, it was the first time we ended a show where I knew we weren't coming back and I knew I wasn't gonna play that character again and I really mourned her. I mourned not playing that character again, which the other ones I was like, I'm done. Yeah. With her, I was like, oh, this has been so fun. Yeah,
you weren't ready to say goodbye.
The other ones, I knew the experiences were fun, but this one, the character was like, I was like, oh, I'm not done with her. Like, I want to play her for the rest of my life.
Well, now you're playing Kate Holiday.
Yeah. But she's done too. That was in May. We wrapped that.
No. This is like anybody who loves Christmas and holiday movies. This is
it's a fun one, right?
It's so
I'm proud
fun.
of this one. I think Holiday and Handcuffs and this one are like my two favorites.
It's really, and it debuts on Friday.
Yeah.
But I want to get to some audience questions.
Okay.
But before I do, we have a question from Twitter. And Tammy from Kansas wants to know, what was it like both producing and acting in this film?
Producing and acting is a good combo. Directing and acting is a little different story. The producing part, you're weighing in a lot in the beginning, in the casting, in where the locations will take place, or what the costumes might look like, or that kind of thing. So with the producing part, it's a little bit more sort of before and after the production part of it. But like I said, I like to be involved in the productions part of it is when I really like to get really gritty. But some of that, it crosses over with the acting. So when you're acting and producing, it's sort of, it goes hand in hand, really. You just have a bigger voice when there's something you want as an actor. When you're like, I wouldn't do that, or he shouldn't do that. Like, I can actually say to other actors, like, you have to do it this way now, and they have to listen to me because I'm the boss. Not just the actor that's being bossy. Yeah. But directing and acting is a different story because you're having to decide what color his shoes should be and what kind of bag does he carry. Like, that was a big thing in SantaCon, which I directed Barry in a few years ago for Lifetime. It was really, like, there was this bag he had to carry, this duffel bag. And as soon as I read the script, I went, this bag is going to be a problem. We talked about the bag. We had numerous bags brought in. We couldn't decide, is it a rolly bag? Is it a duffel bag? Oh, is he in the Army? Should it be like an Army bag? Should it be a zipper? Or is it there were all these questions about this bag. Where is he going to leave it? When does he carry it exactly? What is he going to do with it in this scene? And what does he pull out of it? And how big, it was just, this one bag became such a thing. And as a director, you have to answer all these questions. And you have to know spot on what's the story you're telling here and what's the visual that you're going to give. And it's just a lot of brain power.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you had a little bit of a break with this one.
Yes, I got to have a little more fun. Yeah.
So, well, thanks for that question, Tammy. Let's get to some crowd questions. Who's first? Right here.
Hi. I'm such a huge fan since Sabrina, and I've watched all your films. Such a huge fan. My question to you is that who inspired you, going this far right now?
Who inspires me now, specifically? Well, I'll tell you that growing up, it was always Shirley Temple and Audrey Hepburn. It started off with Shirley Temple being my idol, and then became Audrey Hepburn. And then through the years, I've just admired Sandra Bullock and Betty White. Someone that's persevered. People that just working actors. People that keep going ahead. They have their moment and then they reinvent themselves. And it seems with them, it's not real. I like people that it's not really about fame or fortune. It's about the work and it's about just keep going. And I like that because I think a lot of people that grow up in New York have that sort of sense, of just a good work ethic. And I see that in Sandra Bullock especially. She's one of my favorites.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for that question. I think we have time for another question right here.
I heard that you buy art after a big project. So what are you buying, or did you already buy?
I actually just went to Venice with my family, Venice, Italy, this summer, and because I knew I had the Netflix show coming back, I got myself a beautiful candelabra, but it broke in transit on the way back, and so they sent me a new one, but I was able to crazy glue the other ones, and I have two.
I love it. Oh, well, thanks for that question. And Melissa, thank you so much for coming
Thank
to
you.
Build. You can catch her on Netflix, of course, and you can catch her in A Very Nutty Christmas. It debuts this Friday on Lifetime at 8 p.m. Give it up one more time, everyone. Melissa Joan Hart.
Guys, thank you.